All right, so in this video, I'm gonna share 10 mistakes that people make when selling on Amazon. And some of these mistakes can quite literally make or break your career as an Amazon seller. It can be the difference between being profitable and losing money on the platform when you are selling with Amazon FBA. So let's go ahead, get started with this video and delve into these 10 different mistakes that people make on the platform. So one of the first mistakes that I see a lot of people making is wasting too much money on courses that teach you how to sell on Amazon. Now, just to get this out of the way here, we don't have a course to sell you, all right? I don't think that people need to spend as much money as they do on courses to learn how to sell on the platform. There's so many free resources out there. Now, it's not to say that you shouldn't ever buy a course that teaches you how to sell on Amazon, because there are some pretty decent ones out there, but there are also a lot of scams or people who are overpromising or who are price gouging. And let's say that you have $10,000 as a budget to get your Amazon business off the ground. Now, I've seen people make the mistake where they spend $10,000 on courses and now they have no money left over to buy inventory to start selling their first product on the platform. And so you need to find a way to balance that. If you are going to spend money on courses, just make sure that you still have money left over to buy inventory. There really are a lot of free resources out there. You know, for example, Amazon has Amazon Seller University. I'll leave a link to it down below. This is made by Amazon. It's totally free and it teaches you a lot of important things that you can learn on their own platform without having to open up your wallet. Okay, so things like Amazon Seller University, or even, I'm gonna say this, the Amazon Seller for Dummies book on Amazon that you can buy. It's a few hundred pages, and you're gonna learn a lot from that, sometimes even as much as you would learn from spending $1,000 on an online course just by, buying a book for $20. So I think you can learn how to become a successful Amazon seller for less than a couple $100s from some free resources or from some pretty cheap resources. If you want to buy a course, that's okay. Just make sure that you do your research on the person that you're buying it from, because there are a lot of people who overpromise and underdeliver on those courses. And I've just seen a lot of people get burned on that, and I don't want you to get burned as well. Mistake number 2 is breaking the rules and not reading the terms of service for selling on Amazon. Okay, this happens so often where people are trying to game the system. They're trying to fake the reviews and write reviews for their own products and doing all these things that Amazon, look, this is a $1 trillion company. They know when you are trying to game the system and rank ahead of everyone else in a black hat manner, or a manner that is a little bit sketchy, we could say. So make sure that you read the terms of service and you understand what you can and cannot do as a seller on the platform, because I've seen people get booted from selling on Amazon because they're breaking the rules. All right. It's boring to actually read the terms of service. Like, nobody wants to do that. But I recommend reading every word of the terms of service to know what you can and cannot do. For example, you can't incentivize people to leave positive reviews. You can't tell them, hey, please leave a positive review. And if you don't like the product, don't review it at all. You can't tell people to do that when you're selling products on Amazon. So they have a lot of very interesting rules that you need to abide by. Mistake number 3 is selling items that are at too low of a price. And so I would say, generally speaking, anything under $15 to $20 is going to be very difficult to actually make a profit on as an Amazon seller. So, if you're trying to sell a Rubik's Cube for $4, you're probably not going to profit on that. It's going to be extremely difficult. Maybe you'll make a few cents and you're going to go high volume. That's not something I would recommend for beginners. So generally speaking, the higher the price of the product, the more successful you could potentially be, especially as a beginner seller. Now, that's just a general rule of thumb. If you're trying to sell a product at a really low price, like $10, it's just going to be difficult to compete with the manufacturers who are out there producing it in China or in India or these other countries, and they're just directly selling it on Amazon and shipping it from those countries at a very low cost. So you just need to be mindful of that. And I would say generally, I would not sell anything under $15 or $20 is kind of my general space. Now, also, you can use a really easy rule of thirds when you are trying to find products on Amazon. This is just a quick tip here, that you want to be able to source the product for hopefully 1/3 of the selling cost of the product. So let's say that you want to sell a product for $30. If you can source it for less than $10, that could potentially be a profitable product to sell, because it's 1/3 of 30. That's just a quick and dirty number I do when I'm looking at different products we could potentially sell. Okay, So mistake number 4 is not using product research tools. These are going to give you an extremely high, hopefully an extremely high ROI. I know they have for us and other people as well. So use something like Jungle Scout, okay? Jungle Scout, it costs a little bit of money. It's a subscription on a monthly basis, but you learn so much. You can do product research. Let me just show you here some of the different features that you can get with Jungle Scout. When I go on to my Amazon account, every time I look something up, like let's just say I look up a dog toy, right? And then I can see, basically I can spy on my competitors and see how much product they're moving. I can see a lot of different things like their potential monthly revenue, the revenue per sale, the total fees that they're paying per sale. And you learn a lot from this, from the Jungle Scout tool. So I will leave a link to the Jungle Scout tool down below in the description, or you can go to santrelmedia.com/Jungle Scout. And this is an affiliate link. It just helps support the channel when people use Jungle Scout. But this is really going to be beneficial for you. The amount of things you can do, even for example, looking at where your competitors are sourcing their products from. If they're shipping them in to the United States, you can see in a lot of cases who the manufacturer is for those products, and you can just copy the same manufacturer. Like I've done this for, companies like if you're at Target and you see a really cool product and you say, I wonder where they're getting this from. You can use the Jungle Scout tool, and I'll just show you here how to do this. So inside of the supplier database on Jungle Scout, let's say that I look up dog toy, I can search that and then see where all of my competitors are sourcing their products from and the specific company. So a lot of customers are Kong Company LLC, right? Pet Value Canada, Boss Pet Product. And I can see, let's say we want to look at where Kong is getting their products from. We can click on this and we can dig through and find all the specifics on that. And we can see Tong Fu Manufacturing Company is maybe a potential manufacturer that we want to reach out to. And now we just saved so much time. We probably saved a trip to China to try to find some of these manufacturers just by using the supplier tool on Jungle Scout. And we can do other things as well. We can sort by country, or let's say that we want to look by company, right? We want to see we want to see what Target is doing, right? We can search the company there and we can see where they are getting their products from as well. We have other things as well, like marketing. They can help us with all these different things, understanding keywords, how to target when we are listing our products. So I really suggest trying out Jungle Scout. Like I said, I'll leave a link to it down below, and it costs some money. It can cost like $100 a month, but I recommend trying it out for a month or 2 or 3 months. And if you don't like it, you can just cancel it at some point. But I think it really is worthwhile for every Amazon seller to have these tools at your expense when you are selling on the platform. Let's get back to the list here and let's talk about mistake number 5. And this is a fatal mistake, and it is doing research at the wrong time. For example, let's say that we are on Amazon. Let me go back to this and I'll show you. Let's say that we're on Amazon and we look up American flag, right? We can see that American flags, they were probably selling a lot of American flags. Well, guess what? This week was 4th of July. And so a big mistake that people make is that they look at seasonal items at the wrong time and they notice that they're selling tons of them. They're selling like tens of thousands of American flags. Wow, this is crazy. But they don't realize they're in July, or it's Memorial Day, or it's Labor Day, and everyone's buying those. But come December, come January, nobody's buying American flags as much as they were in the summer months. And so you're going to end up sitting on inventory for like 12 months until the next time comes around. For example, if you're selling like Halloween masks, well, you're going to be moving a lot of them in like September and October. But then as soon as we get to November, it's going to freeze up and you're going to be just sitting on all these Halloween masks until next fall. And this is a business that I would be very careful of getting into. It can work for some if you know how to do it, but generally speaking, you're going to be sitting on inventory for too long, and it's going to be difficult to have proper cash flow management when you are looking at those seasonal items. And that kind of leads me into actually point number 6, which is, I would say, avoid most seasonal items. So 5 was doing research at the wrong times. And then 6 is seasonal items that you can't move consistently over a period of time. Now, it can be okay sometimes, like if it's like a summer thing, like if you're selling like some type of like pool or something, you just have to be very careful of that and understand. I would not recommend it as the first product, is kind of the point that I'm trying to get across here. Okay, so mistake number 7 is having poor product images. Look, this is an easy fix, especially with AI. When you sell your first product or your first few products, I've seen a lot of people make the mistake where they're just taking photos with like their iPhone camera up against a wall. The lighting is not great. They don't have any models wearing their product. Maybe it's like a fitness band, or it's some type of, say it's like an armband for running to hold your phone, and they don't have models wearing it. Look, a lot of these things you can use AI to generate these images, or you can just send your product to a couple of people who will take pictures with them professionally, and you put those on your product listing. Other things as well, having like text on some of the images is super useful. Text or even arrows with descriptions of like the features of the product that you're selling can be extremely helpful for converting more potential buyers when they land on your product page. What I'm saying here is that just don't overlook the absolute importance of images on your product page when you're selling a product, okay? Because I've seen people, especially first-time sellers, they just have bad images. Hire a professional photographer. There are services out there that will take photos of your products. Like they do this every day. They take photos of your product. You just send them one of them and they take great photos. They send them back. It might cost a little bit of money, but it is worthwhile to get those good images. And then also, of course, like have white backgrounds and people know what they're doing, the professionals who take those photos. Okay, mistake number 8 is one that I think a lot of people won't run into until they're a little bit further on down the road, maybe 6 months or a year into their Amazon selling career, and that is improper cash flow management. I took a lot of accounting classes in college, so luckily I kind of learned a lot of this early on, but there's a lot of people who have their entire net worth tied up in their inventory, and it can be pretty problematic. So you want to make sure that you have proper cash flow management. For example, if you buy $100,000 worth of inventory and now you can't pay your rent because all your money's tied up in Halloween masks, for example, and you're only selling 2 per day and you have 10,000 of them, it's going to take you years to unload all of that inventory. And you're not going to be able to go out and start your second product, your third product, your fourth product, because your entire net worth is tied up in that one product. I think of like War Dogs, when the guy had all of his money, like his net worth was tied up in bed sheets and he couldn't sell the bed sheets. So he had no money because everything was in bed sheets. And so you want to be very careful of that. Jungle Scout actually has an inventory manager that you can use that helps with a lot of that. Otherwise, I would recommend just reading some accounting books and some finance books to learn how to properly manage your inventory. But you don't want to have too much in stock. So especially for your first product, when you don't know how well it's going to sell, I would say go on the lower end, and it's always better to buy your product and then sell out and then just have to wait. You might have to wait a little bit to get more, but at least then you know that there's demand for it and that the proof of concept works, rather than just buying too much and then being stuck with all these products somewhere or having to pay Amazon for storage when using Amazon FBA because you're not selling them fast enough. Those fees can actually rack up quite considerably. Mistake number 9 is not actually using PPC ads. These are pay-per-click ads. So let's go over to Amazon and I'll show you what these ads look like. But basically, these ads can be really useful for selling on Amazon if you know what you're doing. I would say don't use these immediately. It can help you get some positive reviews, but when we type in American flag, you can see all these ones here. This is sponsored. So you can actually do this as well. You just need to make sure that the numbers make sense for you. So I wouldn't recommend doing it immediately, but I would recommend getting into it eventually at some point. It's kind of like, think of like Google ads, right? It's pay per click. So, here's a sponsored one. If I click on this, they just paid Amazon some money because I clicked on that and I'm looking at their product page now. So that can be useful and that can really help you scale your Amazon business if you want to consider getting into pay-per-click ads. You can just do that inside of your Amazon seller dashboard. I think I'm going to actually make a tutorial on that. If that's something you would like to see, let me know down below in the comment section on how to run ads for your Amazon products. And then mistake number 10, which probably is the biggest mistake, it's something we call shiny object syndrome. And this is basically when people start a new business and, maybe they make a little bit of money, maybe they lose a little bit of money, but regardless, after a few months, 90% of people quit. They stop running it. Most people never get to their second product or their third product. And it's mostly because you don't see the results that maybe you were thinking you would see. But I'm telling you this right now, if you take anything out of this video, just take this one thing, okay? If you obsess over one specific thing, for example, selling on Amazon, if you obsess over that and you spend years on this, you will learn from your mistakes. You will make mistakes. Trust me on this. You will make mistakes. You might lose some money, but eventually, learning from your mistakes, it's very difficult to actually fail as an Amazon seller. It's going to take time, okay? And I want to be careful saying that because people will fail selling on Amazon. But if you obsess over it and you don't jump onto the next business idea of 3 months from now, you decide you're going to go start some other business, or 6 months from now, you're going to go start some other business. And, after you spend $10,000 trying to build your Amazon business, you give up on it because you don't see the results. This happens way too often. Okay. Obsess over it. Focus on this. It's going to take time. And if you do that, eventually you will figure it out. Okay. Like I said, I want to be careful saying that because people will fail on this, but people will succeed as well. So just become obsessed. And I think you have really good odds here. So those are the mistakes that I think I've seen a lot of people make. Let me know if you want to see more videos on selling on Amazon. I haven't made some of these in quite some time, but thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see everybody sometime in a future video.